And now on to part 4 of Miriam Jacobs' 2023 interview.
So body-wise, I'm going to look at it like that. I'm going to see like, oh, this person has 3 Major Arcana cards. Well, really just simply, this is a major question that they're asking. They're going to go deeper, or it's bigger than just what's happening in this moment. So I'm going to look at it, in the deck like that. This is something that we're just going to get out of the way so they get out of their heads and help them get into their body.
Well, so swords, which chakra?
Okay,
is sword?
so this is what's really interesting is then the air chakra is your heart chakra. And so, so this is what's really interesting, because not only then could it be a tarot discussion, in polarity classes, it was always like, well, why is the heart chakra your air chakra? And, let's discuss this and tease it out. Like, why is that to you? Or is it that speaking from your heart?
I get it. That makes sense for me. I have a mutual reception between Mercury and Venus in my chart, and I'm also a Libra with an Aries moon. So I have so much, I'm trying to communicate or intellectualize, but at the same time, there's so much going on in my heart, or there's so much passion, or there's so much feeling happening or wanting to relate, that I've had to learn how to balance them both together. It's for a long time, it was either, I just go with my head or I just go with my heart. And when I realized they work together, it's made it so much easier for me to be authentic. It's made it so much easier for me to speak from who I am rather than from what I've learned or what I expect myself to be. And so that makes sense. It's almost like if you balance the air in you, or the swords, the conflicts, or the issues in your mind, your heart is getting eased up a little bit, because maybe it has desires or wants that either you won't allow to happen because you're afraid of that, or you don't know the truth of who you are. So you kind of lean more on what you've been told as to who you are, or what you believe is the most important thing, which might be your mind. I mean, look at the 3 of Swords in the typical, I'm not sure if it looks the same in your deck, but it's 3 swords stabbing a heart. They're completely connected to each other. And it makes more sense to me that it would be the heart chakra. I would have expected it, but it makes a lot of sense.
Absolutely. I mean, I never looked at it in that way, but I just, in your aha moment, I just learned something. If you were on my table and you came up with that, without the astrological part, with going, I'm either in my head or I'm in my heart, well, then what I might do, and even if you said, and I'm a Libra, well, then I might bring in that Libras are kidneys, and I might contact your kidneys and contact your head, or your throat chakra, which is your expression, and then maybe your heart. And, and then I might end with like bringing it all into your feet so that it all gets grounded. And that's, of course, saying just what we said. If you were in my session room and we're like, okay, well, what's up? What do you want to work on? Whether that's every time you come or it's a continuous thing, I might get my hands on you and change my mind completely of what I do. And I might go, are you okay with me putting your hand on your heart? Or I might just go, and let's get this from the back, from the back, and then pull some of that energy out from your throat to, the intention is to find balance and to help you move through that issue.
Okay, so Pentacles or Earth, what chakra does that go with?
So that's the root chakra.
The root chakra. Okay, so none of these, so do the majors deal with the upper chakras, or are they 6th and 7th?
This is what I did is that on the deck, I gave all of my major arcana the ether, the throat chakra. But what happened was, and, unfortunately in some of the books, it came out a little skewed. I took poetic license and considered the ether chakra, Major Arcana 1 through 7. And the third eye was 15, so it was, the devil. So then this is like 8 through 14, and then this was 15. So this got a little bit more spiritual. And that even came from those Kabbalistic charts where they have the rows of 7, and I changed it around a little bit because at the time I was taking classes with this psychic guy who believed that the spirit was in between the heart and the throat. So the Fool, which in a lot of decks stands alone. So that's the way that I looked at it. So in the book, then the book looks at adds those 3 chakras, which are spiritual anyway.
Yeah, no, that makes sense because you're talking about the first 7 of the majors, the second 7 of the majors, and then the third 7 of the majors with 1 extra because there's 22 of them. So that's your ether, then your 6th, then your 7th. Okay, I think that's really, because that makes sense. You're right. They're all the spiritual cards, and the 6th and the 7th are all much more spiritually connected than the rest. It's the heart that is the balancer between both of them. Right. And then the lower chakras are the more physical world and the upper chakras are the more ethereal world. Yeah. I love that. So with the pentacles really quick, so you said the root. So that is what grounds you to the earth and that's what gives you the right to be here or makes you feel stabilized here. So that would be for all of the pentacles is all about just you're being fixed or you're being like solid.
Or go up back to what you know about what are the pentacle cards. They could also be practical. They can also be physical. They could be physical in our bodies, or they can be physical in the structures that we live in. So then, even if you didn't know anything about chakras, you just learned something about chakras. So, I want this whole system to kind of, how do we connect? I want people to connect. I want people to love tarot. I want people to have a mind-body experience. Yeah.
A lot of people learn through the conversations that we have. So, like you said, when your person or the person that was talking to you about your tarot dance instead of tarot in motion, to me, I don't think that would have alienated me. I did dance when I was younger, but I would probably need to look at that to even have a bell go off in my mind that might be something that I want. So to approach it in the most inclusive way is really important, but it's also who you are and what you've done with your life and the work that you've put together in multiple ways. And there's a lot of people that need it put together in this kind of episode or in a communicative way to even have it be a light bulb that goes off, that it's something that would work. So yeah, you can understand all of the elements in tarot and you might look at them with the chakra system, but having somebody who's already looked at them with the chakra system gives you that permission to go deeper with how you've seen it,
Exactly. I got to listen to that and quote you on that because that's really well said. And then you're like, but I danced as a kid. But I've had people who, I had one woman who was coming, I think, because her friend was, and she was really fearful about moving. And she finished that movement and she said, oh, you know what? I would have loved to have been recorded because I would have loved to see myself move. Or other people who go.
So I say that I was a dancer so it wouldn't have alienated me. For people who have never danced or for people because I'm from a generation where you just put your kids in all sort of extracurricular activities. So yes, I was in dance. Maybe you weren't in dance, but that might be because there weren't all these extracurricular activities everywhere.
No, they wouldn't go out and play.
Exactly. Like what I'm talking about is especially for people who regardless of what generation you're in, who didn't have that opportunity to, from a child age, an age where you aren't as reserved, or even if you are, you're given opportunities through art to maybe express yourself. And as you get older, even that becomes reserved if you haven't looked into it. So it would be really important for me, if I'd never danced before, to see something that gives me the permission to open up in a way that I may have been embarrassed about, or maybe would have thought would have never been right for me. And so I bet there's a lot of people that come to this tarot in motion and feel that way, or at least, even if, not witnessed by a camera, witnessed by other people, or witnessed themselves unfolding in a way that a lot of people deal with stress, deal with past trauma. You can see it on their body. You can see it with the way they're hunched over. You can see it with the way they're closed off. And even just one hour of somebody saying, just open your body up, can give them so much healing that they haven't been able to get, because they don't even know that that's something that they need. It feels more protective to them when opening up actually feels more freeing, or it feels more alive, right? Because no matter what we do, we're going to get hurt. No matter what we do, we're going to feel pain, So being able to accept that as a fact of life and let your body open up is, I think, essential for so many people that don't even recognize that that's something that they need.
And then they recognize it beyond the tarot, beyond what the tarot, or people come in who don't know tarot at all. They understand something more about tarot too.
Thank you so much for joining me. And as always, as above, so below, blessed be.